And hello and welcome to Varsity Sports alongside Jason Andera. I am Jay Elson. Jason, time to hand out some championships. What do you say?
It's that time of year, isn't it? There's so many athletes achieving elite success right now. We're going to try to spread the recognition as much as we possibly can. And to start the show, Alex Heinert will dive into our track and field coverage. Alex, what do you have for us?
Oh, I've got state track meet greatness to pass along. South Dakota held its 112th high school state track and field meet this past weekend in Sioux Falls, Brandon, and T. And the two-day season-ending event gave us a little bit of everything.
Let's start in AA boys. Trent Frankham of Huron would not get a new pole vault state record, but there's nothing wrong with a 15-6 clearance, a state title, and a field MVP honor to close out your career. Another senior finishing strong. How about Brandon Valley's Jacob Hanna? He'd finished second in the mile and 2 mile and out-sprint Lincoln's Gabe Peters to win the 800, a big part of BV's run to a runner-up team finish. Don't feel too bad for Peters and the Pats, though. Gabe would do the distance double for the second straight year, and he'd anchor LHS to a title in the medley as well. Not to be outdone, teammate Colin Bryson would go undefeated on the weekend, sweeping the 1 and the 2 and anchoring gold medal 4x1 and 4x2 relay teams. Throw in an Eric Luby long jump title and a number of other top 8 finishes across the board, and it all adds up to an incredible 151 team points and a third AA Boys Championship in 4 years for Sioux Falls Lincoln. The race for individual titles in AA girls took a few twists this year that no one expected. Elizabeth Schaefer of Stevens was your defending champion in the 100-meter hurdles, but fellow Rapid City native Emily Nickel of Central beats her to the tape in a platinum best run of 14.74 seconds. Schaefer would not get shut out this weekend, though, as she'd come back to claim her third straight state title in the 300-meter hurdles. We had another upset in the 100, where O'Gorman's Callie DeWitt would go 12.06 to edge Brandon Valley's Krista Bickley by just 8/100ths of a second. DeWitt would also capture the long jump title as well, with a launch of 18 feet, 6 3/4. Despite the loss in the 1, Bickley would still go on to win 3 titles on the weekend in the 2, the 400, her third straight, and the 4x2, en route to earning AA girls track MVP honors. But even though the Lynx would put up triple digits in team points for the third straight year, there was no getting past the defending champs from Sioux Falls Lincoln. Despite an injury to Jasmine Cooper, the Pats would still roll up 118 points behind mile and 2-mile champ Courtney Klatz, triple jump champ and field MVP Riley Heyer, and high finishes in the relays, the hurdles, and the field. Another year, another Patriot title. To Class A, where the brightest star all year has been winners Cameron Kyle. The senior sprinter was on his game this past weekend again, winning the 200 and claiming his second straight 400 title in a platinum best mark of 48.52 seconds. He'd be the 8-track MVP, but he wouldn't get the sprint sweep. St. Thomas More's Jake Andrew would just edge Kyle for the win in the 100, and that would spark a great title push from the 2-time defending champion Cavaliers. STM would claim the 4x4 for the second straight year and the 4x2 for the 5th year in a row, but it would not be enough to top Sioux Falls Christian. The Chargers would get a distance double from Caleb DeWeird in the 8 and the mile, a 300-meter hurdle crown from Justice Adams, relay wins in the medley and the 4x8, and much, much more, all helping SFC claim their first boys team title since 2008. In Class A girls, no one has had more prolonged success in one event than Tori Glazier of Custer in the 800. The junior would earn her 5th straight half-mile crown this year, just edging St. Thomas More's Haley Timmer at the finish line by 0.04 of a second in 2:14.25. Glazier's great, but Shayla Howell of Belle-Fourche was incredible this weekend. The junior would earn track MVP honors after claiming her second career 100 and 200-meter titles. Plus, she'd take the field MVP as well after winning the long jump and setting a new Class A triple jump record by over 2 feet with this platinum launch of 39.9 1/4. The A-girls team race came down to 2-time defending champs St. Thomas More and a Madison squad looking for their first girls team track title. STM led the Bulldogs by 10 points entering the 4x4 and had clinched at least a share of a third straight title, but on the anchor carry, the Cavs' outstanding 8th grader Timmer would be disqualified for cutting off Madison's Olivia Rude with 200 meters to go. The Bulldogs would get 10 points for their first place finish in the race, and for the first time since 1996, we'd have 2 team champions in Class A girls. In Class B, what a race in the boys 800 meters. Defending champ Derek Bockelheid of Northwestern would just edge Logan Hansen of Viborg Hurley and Daniel Burkhalter of Bison in an all-class gold medal time of 1:55.66. Hansen would repeat as champ in the 400 the following day, while Burkhalter would win his third straight mile title and his second consecutive 2-mile crown to take home track MVP. As expected, the boys' team race came down to Coleman Egan and Chester area. The Hawks' Walker Olivier would sweep the hurdle races and help Coleman Egan capture the 4x4, but the depth of the Flyers would win out in the end. Austin Epworth would capture his second straight all-class gold medal in the discus, Riley Greenoff would win the 200, and a number of individuals would score in the sprints, hurdles, and jumps to propel Chester area to their first boys track title since 1988. Last but not least, it's Class B girls, where Newell's Delaney Lieber would have a great weekend. She'd take the 800 and the mile and finish second in the 400 and the 4x8s. Normally, that'd be enough for a track MVP nod, but not when pitted against Parker's Carly Peters. The sophomore refused to lose this weekend, winning the 1, the 2, the 4, and anchoring the Pheasants 4x1 to a title. She's your track MVP, the first B girl other than Macy Hines to win the honor since 2011. Peters would help propel Parker to second place in the team standings, but they'd be a distant second to the girls from Dubrook area. The Dolphins would rack up 78 points behind Ashley Vandermeer in the jumps, Josie Olson and Andrea Vandermeer in the distance events, a relay win in the 4x8s, and depth across the board.
We're just getting started with our recap of state track weekends in the Dakotas. When we come back here on Varsity Sports, we'll take you to Bismarck with highlights of the North Dakota High School State Track and Field meets. That's next.
Varsity Sports on Midco Sports Network is presented by Mitchell Technical Institute and Farmers Union Insurance Agency.
Welcome back to Varsity Sports. Well, North Dakota and State Track Weekend have always been held on Memorial Day weekend for as long as anybody can remember, and that tradition was continued this past Friday and Saturday at the Bismarck Community Bowl.
All repeat champions in the Class A girls throwing events this weekend, as Red River's Shelby Frank would earn her second straight discus crown with a platinum toss of 155 feet 9 inches, while West Fargo's Akili Moten would capture her third consecutive titles in the javelin and the shot. She'd go 48.6 in the shot put to establish a new state meets and community bowl record. On the track, the running events were dominated by two other senior standouts. Bismarck's Cara Hausler would go undefeated on the weekend, winning the 1, the 2, the 4, and anchoring the Demons 4x4 to a title, while Grand Forks Central's Carly Ackley would sweep the distance events, taking the mile and the 2-mile for the second straight year, while earning her first 800 title in 2:15.43. In the team race, Bismarck High would make things interesting, but no one could keep up with Fargo Davies. The Eagles would get 34 points in the hurdles behind wins from Sally Corgo in the 300s and Kaya Beal in the 100s, the third straight title for Kaya. They'd also get both sprint relays for the second year running and would excel in the field with a win in the pole vault, plus top 3 finishes in the long and triple jump, all helping Davies earn the Class A crown for the second straight year.
At our school, I think we've developed a love for track and field, and that's drawn in some other kids. We've got a core of kids who love the sport, who are leaders.
Davies also had its share of special performances on the boys' side, with most coming courtesy of Hunter Lucas. The senior would fend off Williston's Leif Everson to defend his titles in the mile and 2-mile, plus he'd earn his first 800-meter crown to complete an impressive distance sweep of his own. In the field, repeat champions were the norm, with Dickinson's Mike Hariff picking up his second straight pole vault win and a platinum effort of 15.7, while Red River's Devon Pope would go back-to-back in the triple at 45.9. Century's Levi Rocky was not a repeat champ, but the junior will be favored to do so next year in both the disc and the shot after winning both events convincingly this past weekend. Rocky's Patriots would have a strong weekend overall, but their 2-year reign as champions would end at the hands of crosstown rivals Bismarck Legacy. The Sabres would get event wins from Austin Wolf in the high jump, Brandon Lewis in the 100 and the long jump, Alex Brousseau in the 200, plus relay wins in the 4x1 and the 4x4. Add it all up, and it's a first ever boys state championship for the black and gold.
I'm really happy for our kids. You know, Legacy girls got a title, and now Legacy boys have a title in their first year as seniors, so couldn't be prouder.
In Class B, double winners were everywhere. Elena Schwartz of Park River Fordville Lankin would capture both hurdle titles. Kaylee Peterson of Mayport CG would win the mile and the 2 mile. Gracie Wright of Hillsborough Central Valley would take the 400 for the 3rd straight year and claim the 800 as well. But it was Grace Zimmerman and Hazen who would win the day. Zimmerman would capture the 200 for the 2nd year running, and she'd win the 100 as well. Those sprint performances combined with relay wins in the 4x1, the 4x2, and the 4x4 would help propel the Bison to their 3rd straight Class B Girls Championship.
This weekend we really just proved the heart that we have and proved how bad we want it, and we're a really close-knit group who worked really hard all season, so I'm really proud of us.
If you like tight finishes and repeat champions, then Class B Boys was the place to be. Despite a slip on the home stretch, Dickinson Trinity's Dawson Cram would just pull out his 3rd 100-meter crown by a mere 2/100ths of a second, while in the 400, defending champ Mark Madalin of Delax Burlington LNC would just get the nod over Trinity's Noah Sickler by the same slender margin, 49.76 to 49.78. Lisbon's Maverick Coleman would also go back-to-back on the weekend, winning his 2nd 300-meter hurdle championship in a row. In the team race, the Dickinson Trinity boys would make a strong push for the title, but for the 3rd straight year, no one could compete with the depth and the excellence of Newtown's distance corps. The Eagles would score all 85 of their team points in just 4 events, with Jalen Chase setting a new state meet record in the 2 mile and Ryan Wheeling capturing the 800, the mile, and anchoring the Eagles to a 2 mile relay title for the 3rd straight year. In short, nothing new for the boys from Newtown.
We had younger guys step up. We had older guys just do what we came here to do. We trained really hard for this moment, and I think it couldn't have gone any better. I'll remember this meet specifically for the rest of my life.
Thank you, Alex. That is going to do it for this year's track and field highlights, but make sure to watch next week for our interstate medley recap and our Platinum Award winners. Which Heinert is going to go home happy? I think
Always
that's
a
the
question.
burning question here. All right, coming up, we will head to the Diamond. We've got some state baseball and softball to preview a little bit later on in the show. But first, a perfect ending to a storybook season. You're watching Varsity Sports. And welcome back to Varsity Sports. Well, the Roosevelt Rough Riders did a rare thing last Saturday that combined perfection with a state championship. It was Brandon Valley and Roosevelt for the championship at Sioux Falls Stadium later on that afternoon. In the home half of the 2nd inning, the Riders' Carlos Caro stepped up with the bases loaded.
First pitch swinging down the left field line and bring in everybody.
I just had to go up there and do what I could and trying to go oppo.
That was the start of a 4-run inning, giving Roosevelt the early 4-0 lead. Top 3 now, Brandon Valley gets one back on an RBI from Peyton Livingston, and it is 4-1.
Well, they got him back in the game a little bit, but Justin Aldridge kept things under control for the Riders. He and the reliever, Jack Blogg, combined for 5 strikeouts in a 3-inning period. That led them through the 5th inning.
All right, to that 5th inning we go now. Riders get the bats going again. Gus Riddell singled in a run, and later Reese Raggets tacked on a 2-run single. That made it 7-1. Roosevelt would add 2 more in the 7th to go up 9-1, and that would be more than enough on this night. Roosevelt completes its perfect season with its 4th state title.
Oh man, last year the way we lost to Brookings in the first round, we just didn't show up like we needed to, and this year we definitely bounced back. I mean, all offseason we worked, all of us together, we just worked super hard, and it all paid off.
We always talked about finishing strong. If it was the last game of the week, the last game of the regular season, whatever it was. And today we talked about this is our last day of baseball together. Let's go out and finish strong.
All right, well, South Dakota's other baseball title would be settled just a couple of days later. We're going to share Class B's championship highlights next. While Class A got its time to shine on Saturday, Monday was about the boys from Class B. And here is a look at this year's semifinal contest. In the first game, Dell Rapids St. Mary took care of West Central 11-5. Then in the second game, Vermilion beat PGDC WLC.
That's Flat Geddes Dakota Christian White Lake Corsica, for those of you who don't know.
And the Honkers, you can just call them that too. 11-1 was the final in that one, thanks in part to a monster home run from Billy Mount. Anyway, that set up the day's championship clash. Dell Rapids got right to work. First inning, Seth Anderson delivers a bases-clearing double to put his team up 3-zip. It would stay that way until the 5th when Nate McKee and Matt Galuli hit back-to-back triples.
Yeah, those Duffs bats got hot, pushed in some big runs. That secured the win. They kept pressure offensively, and they also got a gem from their pitcher, Trevor Pulcher, on the mound as well.
Yeah, Pulcher went the distance, giving up just 5 hits on his way to the shutout. In Dell Rapids, St. Mary claims its first title in what was its 3rd consecutive state tournament appearance. Let's hear from the champs.
And finally seeing it where we finally got over the hump. It felt pretty good. Felt pretty happy for the kids. They earned it. They worked really hard.
There was some nerves, but I knew my team had faith in me and coaches had faith in me, and I knew I was going to do well.
Our hitting came around and we were fielding the ball really well. The past couple of years we've had a lot of errors because we've been nervous in the past. But you know what they say, the 3rd time's a charm.
Good stuff for sure. All right, well, that is it for South Dakota spring ball. But North Dakota is a different story. Jody Norstedt is going to set the stage for this week's state baseball and softball championships next.
Varsity Sports on Midco Sports Network is presented by Mitchell Technical Institute and Farmers Union Insurance Agency.
And welcome back. Well, the North Dakota prep baseball and softball seasons are going to wrap up this weekend out in Mandan and Jamestown.
Yeah, and our own Jody Norstedt has been digging up numbers and sorting through stats to give you the best state tournament previews around. Jody?
Thanks, guys. We have a fun weekend in store. If you've been following my power rankings this year, you already know the favorites, but the beauty of this weekend is those rankings, the polls, they don't matter because it's all settled on the field. Let's first take a look at the Class A state baseball bracket. And West Fargo is the top seed in the East and will play the final game of the night against Mandan at Veterans Memorial Park in Mandan. Brett Peterson's team enters with a 25-7 record. Pitching depth could be the key to a deep Packers run. Ryan Barassa has an ERA just over 2, and Drake Fleshy and Morgan Capon are both under 2 in that department. Catcher Jacob Johnson says pairing that with an even keel approach at the plate will be crucial.
Focusing is going to be the big thing because we can't get too high, we can't get too low. We're losing a game by a run or two. We know we can make it out. We just have to know that. We have to stay having fun.
Mandan has some great athletes. Jaden Anderson and Mason Huntley hope to provide the punch at the plate. The Jamestown-Cheyenne quarterfinal is a battle of the underdogs. The Blue Jays were the 7th seed in the WDA and nearly won the tournament title had it not been for a late Dickinson rally. The Mustangs were the 6th seed from the East but topped North and Central to get back into the state tournament. We'll see if they can make a magical run and return to the title game this year. Denver Blinn and Andrew Eno are ones to watch. Make sure to watch pitcher and first baseman Nolan Kratz for Jamestown. He was the region's senior athlete of the year and is a grown man. We heard from Dickinson a few weeks back. The Midgets are aiming for 2 straight titles. Their lineup is loaded from top to bottom, and they haven't lost since May 9th. The Midgets' opponent, Red River, is peaking at the right time, but I think Dickinson is just too good to lose in the first round. Now, I'm predicting a champion for all 4 tournaments, and I'll go with Dickinson to go back-to-back as Class A baseball champs because, quite frankly, they're the most complete team. Now, I love the field in Class B because 4 of the top 5 teams in my power rankings are in the field of 8. The top 5 got seeded in this order: Thompson, Kindred Richland, Park River Fordville Lincoln, Carrington, and Bishop Ryan. Now, Kindred Richland is in that opening game against Shiloh Christian. I know the Skyhawks have 8 players with 10 or more runs batted in, led by Kanan Fagerland and Jaden Mitzel. But the Vikings pitching is so good, whether they throw Brandon Raisler or Ethan Lingen out there right away, both of those guys have microscopic ERAs. Where things get interesting is a potential Kindred Richland versus Park River Fordville Lincoln semifinal. The Aggies just outscored opponents 62-15 in the region tournament, led by Jackson Hankey, who hit a whopping .786 over the course of those 5 games. I think Thompson makes it out of the bottom half of the bracket. They're 19-0, have a team batting average near .400 and a team ERA of .7. The Schwabe brothers, Tyler Haig and Marcus Hughes, have been making life miserable on opponents all season long, and I think that continues, and they go back-to-back as champs. We'll dive into my reasoning a little more on the Midco SN podcast. Now, the Class A softball tournament might be located in Mandan, but make no mistake, it still runs through West Fargo. The Packers are on a quest to win their 20th consecutive state title, and they have 5 seniors that are determined to go out on top. The sister battery of Steffi and Sammy Doolum is as good as it gets. Steffi, the EDC Outstanding Senior of the Year, is 26-2 with 258 strikeouts this season. Sammy leads the Packers with a .531 batting average and 16 homers, throwing Gabby Du Bois and her 51 RBI, and you see what makes the Green Machine run so well. Minot pitcher Marisa Andrisic will have to be at her best. Assuming the Packers win, their semifinal matchup will be very tough regardless. Dickinson was the runner-up last year, so they're no stranger to the big moment, and Cheyenne gave their rival all they could ask for earlier in the season. Shortstop Morgan Geisler is a special player for the Mustangs, batting .532 on the year. Valley City is a great story, reaching the tournament once again, but future Bison Jamie Barta in Bismarck should handle the Highliners. I'm not going out on much of a limb for my prediction. Give me the Packers to win number 20. I dove really deep into the Class B bracket on my blog, but here, take a look at the bracket and I'll give you a few storylines to watch. In Game 1, Kindred Richland's Teresa Clinard leads the team with a .543 batting average and 33 RBI. She's also a star pitcher, and get this, her sister is an assistant for Hart River, the Vikings' opponent in the opening round. Central Cass has 5 players with 25 or more runs driven in on the year, but Wilton Wing has West Region Senior Player of the Year, McKenna Wiesenberger, in the circle. As for the championship, give me Kindred Richland over Central Cass. To recap, yes, I'm picking not 1, not 2, not 3, but all 4 state champions from last year to go back-to-back, as if the bullseye on their back wasn't big enough already. Good luck to all the teams. For extended tournament preview coverage, make sure to check out our Midco SN podcast on midcosn.com. Back to you guys.
All right, good stuff. Well, that is our time for this week. For Jody Norstedt, Alex Heinert, and Jason Andera, I am Jay Elson. Enjoy the games, everybody.